Hi, this is Mhotep from smartarchitects.com, and in this video we're going to go through um, fairly quickly Windows Deployment Services, which is a image-based, network-based solution similar to you've probably used Alteris in the past, or Semantic Norton Ghost, or something like that. So it's an imaging solution, but it's built into the um, Microsoft Windows operating system. And the platform that we're going to install Windows Deployment Services on is 2012 R2 Datacenter. But you can get away with standard edition as well. You don't have to run data center. I just happen to have this. This is in one of my virtual machine labs, and so I just happen to have data center installed. So, what are the benefits of Windows Deployment Services? And this is, by the way, this is directly from TechNet, so I didn't create this or make any of this up, but I just have it here illustrated. Just to quickly go through um, so that you get an idea, a pretty good idea of what the benefits are. So Windows Deployment Services, it allows network-based installation of Windows operating systems. So you can't deploy Linux or Mac-based operating systems. Unfortunately, it's only for Windows. It's a Windows product only. It reduces the complexity and cost when compared to manual installations. And the reason is because a manual installation of an operating system can take an hour or less, but compared to, let's say you're a desktop tech, network engineer, whatever, or you're responsible for deploying images. It could be to servers. It doesn't have to be to desktops or laptops. Um, and that can take a long time. And with Windows Deployment Services, you can have your images already created, customized, and ready to be deployed to hardware on your network. So that's one benefit. Supports deploying images for mixed environments. So that means you can deploy images to Windows 7 machines, 2008, Windows 8.1. Um, Windows Server 2012 R2, and also Windows 10. Uh, it uses standard Windows setup technologies, including the Pixie and also Windows Preinstallation Environment, .wim files, and image-based setup. Transmit data and images by using multicast functionality, which is what Altiris and Semantic Norton Ghost uses as well. Allows you to create images of a reference computer using the image capture wizard, which is an alternative to the ImageX tool. We won't go through that here, but this is just where you can basically you have a computer as your reference base image, which is how you want uh, other computers to have in terms of software configuration and things like that. Uh, and then you can upload that image to your Windows Deployment Services server and then deploy that out to as many systems as you want. Allows you to add driver packages to the server and configure them to be deployed to client computers along with the install image. So basically, you can not just install the Windows operating system, but you can add driver packages, video drivers, audio drivers, um, any type of driver that you may need to be included in that image, making it so much easier. Because if I started my career, years ago as a desktop tech help desk, guy, and there's lots of you spend a lot of time finding drivers, finding the right drivers, playing around with the drivers, making sure that they work correctly with the hardware. So that's outside of just installing the operating system, which can take at least an hour. and then you got to go and find the drivers for all of your devices. So this saves you a lot of time because you can load those drivers in to the installation image. So the prerequisites for installing Windows Deployment Services uh, is Active Directory, domain services, and the WDS Windows Deployment Services server must be a member of an Active Directory domain or a domain controller. But uh, you can also run WDS in standalone mode, which is what we're going to do. So you don't have to. So basically, you can either have the WDS server in an Active Directory domain, or you can have it in a standalone setup, which is what we have here. Um, so we just have it in a work group. We don't have it connected to a domain. And then you have to have DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, with an active scope on the network. And this is because Windows Deployment Services uses PXE, Pre-Execution Environment, um, and that relies on DHCP. You also should have DNS, uh, a working DNS server on your network, and then also you should have an NTFS volume to save your images, which we do. We have all of this, and I'm relying on DHCP on my router here in my lab, as well as DNS. And then credentials, you should be a member of the local administrator group. And I'm just logged in here on this server as the local admin, so we're good to go. Also, to initialize the WDS server after you've installed it, you have to be a member of the domain admins group. And uh, I'm logged in as a local admin administrator, so it's no problem. The tools for managing WDS. So we have WDS MMC snapping, which you'll see in a minute. We have the WDS util command line tool, and then Windows PowerShell commandlets. So we're only going to just go through the MMC snapping, and then just some other notes. Installing the WDS role on virtual machines. You can install it on Hyper-V. I happen to be using VMware Workstation in this lab, so it's a VMware virtual machine. And of course, you got to have enough um, hard disk space to save all your images and a decent amount of memory. Uh, and Some other notes: you can't run WDS from a Azure virtual machine. It's not possible. It has to be on your local network. It can't run over the network like that, over the internet, that is. It has to be on your local network. WDS isn't cluster aware, but you can have multiple WDS servers to provide fault tolerance and load balancing. We won't go through that. We're just going to get you up to speed so that you understand how to install it, which is fairly simple. So, all right, I'm going to get rid of that. So I have my Windows Server 2012 R2 system. I have it's just a standalone mode. It's not connected to an Active Directory domain, and I'm actually getting my IP address from DHCP, which is fine. It'll still work, and I have DNS and all that set up on a network. And so, that's pretty much it. This is really bare bones. I didn't configure the server very much. I renamed it to WDS. I kept it in a work group. I didn't add it to a Active Directory domain. And that's it. I just made sure it had a good IP address on our network. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new virtual machine. Uh, so basically, I'm going to demonstrate how in VMware Workstation I have my WDS server, and I'm going to create a new virtual machine. Okay, and I'm going to, when it asks for the ISO or the disk, I'm not going to select either one. I'm going to select, I will install the operating system later. Um, and so then we're going to click next, Microsoft, and we're going to do Windows 8, click next, and then yeah, just Windows 8. And then I'm going to put it here, WDS Lab. Let me see. So I'm going to create a new folder, Windows 8.1. Okay, so that's going to go there. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to store a virtual disk as a single file for better performance. I'm just going to give it 30 gig, even though this is just a test anyway. Hit next, finish. So we just have a virtual machine that's been partly configured. There's no operating system installed on it yet. So you'll see what we do. Oh, the other thing we have to do is go here, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to turn off the CD DVD. I don't want that to power on. Everything else is good to go. Oh, and then I need to change the network adapter to bridged. So it'll grab its IP address settings from the same network as my WDS. So those are the two most important things. Turn off the CD DVD so it doesn't look for that, and then make sure, however your network is configured in your lab or in your enterprise environment, that if it's a virtual machine or if it's just a physical computer, that it can connect and it's on the same network as your Windows deployment server. So so that's good. So I'm going to click OK. I'm not going to power it on just yet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the dashboard, add roles and features, click next, click next. All right, the server I want to use is already highlighted. Click next. Then we're going to go down and select the Windows Deployment Services role, and it's going to add the tools as well. And then we're just going to click include management tools. Click add features. Click next. Click next again. Click next, and we want both transport server and deployment server selected. And we're not going to need to restart the server, but I just select that anyway. And I'm going to click install. So this shouldn't take too long. Okay, it's almost done. Okay, so I may pause the video. I think I will, and then I'll bring it right back once the installation is done. Okay, we're back. Installation succeeded on WDS. So now we're going to click close, and then we see WDS has been installed here, and then we can go and right click. We can go here, or we can go over to tools and find our WDS, our Windows Deployment Services MMC. So either one. So we got servers here, and so basically it hasn't been configured or initialized yet. So now we have to configure our Windows Deployment Server. So just right click and click configure, and we already know, we went through the prerequisites, so we already know what has to happen, what we need to make sure this works. We already have DHCP running on our network successfully. We already have DNS running successfully, and we have NTFS file system partition. All right, so we're good there. So we click next. I'm not going to integrate with Active Directory because I don't have Active Directory server in this lab. So I'm going to do standalone server. Click next, and we're going to choose the default path to store the images. So I'll go with that. And this path has to be NTFS partition, like it says, like I said before in the previous wizard slide, which it is. So we're going to click next. So here it would like us to put the images on a separate partition, a separate volume, but I'm just testing, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about performance or anything. This is just a demonstration, so I'm just going to continue. Click next, and I'm going to select respond to all client computers, known and unknown. Okay, so click next. I'm not going to select require administrative approval, but you can if you want to do that. But I'm not going to worry about that. Click next. So now it's configuring and starting our WDS server. So now we need to add the images to the server. I'm going to click finish, but I'm going to cancel so you can see what's going on. So basically, WDS has been initialized, and that's the name of my server and the service. And so basically, there's two areas where, just to get started, the install images area and then the boot images area. And so I had this server configured before, and so I'm going to delete this. So just so you can see, I'm going to delete that. That's why I probably picked back up on it. All right, so I'm going to add and install image. So I'm going to, so what I did is I just, let me go back. Let me right click on install images. Click add install image. And you can have different groups. I'm just going to, you can create a new group. I'm just going to use that group. Click next. And so here, what you want to do is have the DVD of the operating system already inserted into your DVD drive on your virtual machine or your physical machine that you're using as your WDS server. So I think I already have it. Let me verify that I have the DVD. Um, yeah, I do. Okay, so all I have to do is browse, and yeah, I have the DVD, and I'm going to browse, and it's looking for the boot.win. So I'm going to boot.win, actually install.win. I'm going to click OK, and so that's all you got to do. Point it to that location, your DVD drive, sources slash backslash install.wim. So these are the files it needs. Then you're going to click next, and it recognizes, oh, that's Windows 8.1 Enterprise. So I'm going to click next and then next, and it's going to copy the files it needs from off of the DVD to the server in that location that that we told it we want to use to store all of our images. So that location is remote install. So it's going to put everything in here that it needs. But you don't have to use remote install. You could use any directory. You could create a new directory and call it whatever you want, but we just use the default. Okay, so it's checking the integrity, and then it's going to copy everything. I'm going to pause the video. So as you can see, okay, it's adding an image. Yeah, I'm going to pause the video and then come right back once it's done. Okay, so we're done with adding the install image, and we can see the selected images were successfully added to the server. I'm going to click finish. So now we have to go down here to our boot images and just right click on that section, click add boot image. So here we're going to select our boot.wim file. So it's going to be in the same folder on our DVD. Do boot.wim. So again, it's your DVD drive slash sources slash boot.wim. And this is the authentic uh, Windows 8.1 Enterprise DVD ISO image. It's the ISO image. I'm gonna click next. So it already recognizes it's Microsoft Windows setup, and it's going to finish adding this. I'll put a pause on the video and come back once this is done. Okay, so this is done. The selected images were successfully added to the server. I'm going to click finish. So that's the bare bones to what you need to do. You need to add your install image. So you're just adding your install.wim file. You need to add your boot image, your boot.wim file. And that's about it. And we have our WDS server initialized. So now the magic happens. I'm just gonna go over here to this Windows 8 system that it's not configured with anything. So we're gonna power this sucker on, and we're gonna get ready to hit F12 so that it can do a network boot. See? So it's looking for the WDS server. There we go. I'm going to hit F12. It found the WDS server on the network, and that's the IP address of the WDS server. And now it's going to start the, well, you'll see. I'll go through it. Much, much easier than popping a DVD physically into a system and running the install from there. And you can script this and have your image very customized, so you don't have to sit and even really hit next or answer any questions. You can use answer files with this. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. So we're going to click next. So here, because I didn't choose to integrate with Active Directory, it's asking for the administrative account on the WDS server. So I'm just going to WDS slash, so you want to put the computer name slash administrator and then the password. Okay, click OK. Boom. Okay, Windows, that's what we want. Click next. And if you noticed before, we had chose 30 gig drive, hard disk drive to be allocated. That's fine. Click next. Waiting for setup. Boom, there you go. So basically, this is just to summarize. We have a Windows deployment server set up in a virtual machine, a very basic setup. It's not an Active Directory, and we also set up a blank virtual machine. We didn't choose to install the operating system. We booted up on the virtual machine. We made sure it was on the same network. Um, we made sure DHCP and DNS was working, which it is, as you can see. And we're using the WDS server to deploy the image to this virtual machine. And once this is done, the virtual machine will have a working operating system, which is Windows 8.1 Enterprise. So that's as easy as it is for Windows deployment services. And you can get more advanced. You can really take your images and fully configure them. I just basically took the image, just a basic default image, from off of the ISO, the Windows 8.1 ISO image. I didn't customize anything, but you can customize it and then present it as an image file to your WDS server and then push that out. So just imagine the things you can do. You can do this for your Windows 7, Windows 8.1, Windows 10 systems, Windows Server 2012 R2 systems. So there's a lot of capabilities that you have with Windows deployment services. So I hope this video was helpful. And again, this is Imhotep from smartarchitects.com, and you can visit us at Architects, and Architects is spelled ARCHITECHS.com. The link is in the video description. Visit us. We provide server infrastructure and cloud, public, and private cloud solutions, and we would love to work with your organization um, if you need the help. So please check us out again, and we'll be posting a lot of how-to videos. Thanks again. Bye now.